My wager is coming, senses are tingling. 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 I had to. I had to figure out that there was an echo before putting my headset on. I actually didn't have to do that, but I did. So here we are. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? What's up, Q? What's up, Wager? Just watching good football games. Watch a movie with my sisters. Lame, dude. You had to tell him to wait until after the KSU game. I was about to go through the games of chess, if that intrigues you. Whoops. I knew I was forgetting something. I always forget something. I actually don't know that I need to do this. I do. Lit. I care about this more than this dumb movie. What is it? The movie. How's the fam? We vibing, yo. We vibing out here. Around these parts. We vibing. So, I've got the palette. Oh yeah. Well, while I have this up, the jersey arrived. Oh, I have a lot of hair. Young blood. And then, geez, let's just get everything out of the way while we're at it. The trophy is home. To stay. To stay this time. The trophy is home. What's cooler, the jersey or the trophy? Actually, I am going to put this back here, though, because I do want it to be visible as much as I do also just want it on my desk. Gets prime real estate right next to the Ford Contour grill, the Bon Jovi sign, signed Steve Young jersey, Wager's gift, which as far as I know is the only gift I've received from a viewer on stream. Like someone that I only know as a viewer. And the signed Zach Brown note from when me and Jess got married. Prime real estate. Trophy is sick. Dude, it's home. For a year, at least. I plan to keep it this way, though. We'll see. I got a lucky draw in the tournament, to be bluntly honest. So, this was my first round. This is my cousin. I got 4 games for y'all. I played 3, but I've got a little bit of like a dessert, if you will. It's actually not really a dessert because I'm gonna play it before it'll be the 3rd game instead of the 4th game. So it's like what is that? Actually, to be honest, it's like the main entree. To be bluntly honest, this is the appetizer. This game here is just the appetizer. So everyone's playing online? No. I went home for Thanksgiving and we played the games over the board in person. I just remembered them and logged them. And so I could save them, essentially. So this is me stepping through what happened, but this is just my recreation of it. What had happened over the board. Yes, a replay. So yes, so this is the appetizer, if you will. You guys know me. I'm going to be playing a very basic scotch, to which he immediately, on move 3, plays incorrectly. Which is fine. I'll take the pawn, right? Like, he'll grab the E pawn, and I would play, like, I think queen E2 would be the move at that point. You know, there's a couple different options. This is my cousin. So I played my dad next, but this is my cousin that I played in the first round. But yeah, like, it's not unbearable. It's losing. Stockfish obviously doesn't like it, but it's playable. That's not. That's just not. That's just losing. You're just losing a game of chess on move 4. So I took. He gave a check that just kicked him, and I was like, okay, this is good. So I just develop attacking that pawn, which I could have taken already. I could have either like gone here, but then he'd go here, so that if I took this is exposed. Whoops, not that. I guess probably that. So pile it up. Attack. He just completely ignores both, trying to attack this, to which I say, okay, free knight, with a check ready to be exposed, with, you know, some sort of attack on a queen some way or another. And he says, yeah, please do it. So I said, no, not yet. Computer didn't like it. It was, well, no, computer didn't hate it, but computer didn't love it. It was a fine move. And then, which the reason I played it is because I mainly didn't see this, is what it boiled down to. I figured he would have played this or this. If he had played here, I'd have played here, and then he would have taken... No. Wait, what was it? If he'd gone here, I would have played... What was it? I had a plan. I don't remember what it was. Here, he would have taken... No, I don't remember anymore. There was a reason I played it like that. Maybe I was hoping he would go this way. I don't know. Anyway, he stepped forwards, which I did not see coming, and I was like, all right, just give me the queen. We'll get out of this. And then I wanted to set something up here to just get him done and mate him. So I keep him away from the corner so that maybe I can like castle and just mate him with the rook in a couple moves. I take the pawn here. I grab this check, and I realized that this was with check, and so I just stepped to the side, and I was like, but there's nothing he can do about it. Like, he can't actually defend it. So it's like, what's he gonna do, go here? So I was like, you know, I took this pawn because I was like, he's gonna move back and just like lose the bishop on the next move. And then he also lost the rook on the next move, and then also lost the rook on the next move, and then also didn't play king h7, which doesn't matter, but like, dog. Like, come on. Yeah, so that was obviously game over. That was round one. So that put me into the semifinals where I was matched up against my dad. Meanwhile, in round one, John had taken down Brent. So John had also put himself into the semifinals. And then Jake had taken down my uncle. So Jake put himself into the semifinals as well. So Jake and John played a semifinals game not long after me and my dad played this semifinals game, which was, in a way, pretty similar. I'm realizing I should do this. Yeah, sorry. I'm not gonna go back and I'm gonna step through the other game real quick, just so that all the moves are on this view, even though I'm not doing everything on this view. You get the point. So, game two, semifinal against my dad. Starts very similar. It's like kind of almost a scotch, except he doesn't take. So like, okay, now I'm realizing it's really not that similar at all. But I play it similarly. He just defends it differently. He puts the bishop down here, obviously pinning the knight to the queen. So I go ahead and trade the pawn down first, and then ask him to trade it, and he does. And he says, actually, let's do queens as well. And the computer hates it because of queen b3. And much like my game against my cousin, where the computer doesn't like the move that he just played, the computer hates the move that he plays next even more, which is that my dad sees this obvious attack on the pawn and completely misses this obvious attack on the knight, just because it is a couple more squares away. So my dad's down a knight, but it's like not so simple. So he actually thinks here for a while, and he actually like kind of can play this move. So he does, because he's able to attack the queen and get out with it. Computer likes all of this on both sides, by the way. So I give this check, he kicks me and move here. Apparently the computer wanted queen a6, which I was thinking about as well, but it was like, I don't know that I want to do that. So I didn't, because this is like kind of a fork. So he goes and gives his fork. I defend the pawn from the queen. And he steps over so that I don't just start wrecking havoc, just walking into all of this. I don't fully understand why he doesn't play this. I've turned off the analysis because I don't want there to be massive spoilers. Even though you can literally read the PGN on the side. Well, I guess you can't after a certain point. But, yeah, I haven't evaluated what happens if he plays rook c8. I would imagine it's like kind of reasonable, because then you can start pressing this, and it's like, even if it hangs that, oh, I guess that's why he didn't play it. But it's like, so like this does defend both pawns, but not actually at all, because I take the rook, which then can take the pawn here. So in this position, so actually my dad thought for a while here, you know, does he take the rook that he obviously set up? He doesn't have to rush to do it though, because it's 2 moves away from being safe. And even then, he still can take it. He would just lose the knight to follow up. So he thought for a while here, and he plays this, and he almost gets me. Not because of what he should have gotten me with, But because I was like, oh, I don't really want him to like get in with check and be able to defend this square so that he can hop in and get back out. So I was like, let me go ahead and take this pawn. I did not take the pawn, because if I did, that's a fork and I'm losing. It's like -2 or something. It's doable, but it's like -2. I did not take the pawn, but it was close. Like, normally, like if I was playing a game of Blitz, I would have taken that pawn. Like 8 times out of 10. So I just bring the bishop back, play safe, give this check to trade down, and then essentially tell him, go ahead and take the rook, because my entire goal here is to essentially make sure that you are not getting that knight back out. And it looks like he's about to get it out after I win 2 pawns instead of the knight. But the problem is he's not. And so at this point he's down a bishop and no, he's and a pawn. Yeah, down a bishop and a pawn. And it looks like he's about to be down a knight as well. So he attacks my bishop. I just defend. He, starts to walk over and then tries to kick it. It doesn't do anything, so I just come back. He just comes back. And I finally grab the knight, and he starts to kind of walk over here. And then I was like, wait, hold on. I've got this protected by the knight, this protected by the bishop. And frankly, by the time anything happens and I push the pawn here, I'll have the rook underneath it. So I just start walking. I defend that in the meantime, but yeah, and then he ends up having to come all the way back over here. He can't go here because of the knight, can't go here because of the pawn. If I do push, he will be able to go here, which ends up happening, but I take with check, and he can't take because the rook is defending, and so I think he goes here, yeah. Which I could just go back. I think I pushed the pawn instead because I realized, I mean, what are you gonna do? Take? Like, okay, I guess. And so he doesn't, so he can keep his rook on the board, but I mean, his rook's just not doing anything. So I lock his king down. He doesn't see that I lock it down, so he plays this move. I finally lock his king down, so there's actually nothing he can really do, and I just made him. So, this one was like a solid game. It definitely was, like, I mean, I had an advantage on, what was it, move 7 or something? Just from queen b3. Move 8 is when I got advantage. So I guess after move 7, I had an advantage that I just didn't let up the rest of the game. And then I almost blew it on move 15. Almost. But yeah, no, then after that, it was just get pieces off the board and go home. So, yeah, so that was that. So you saw the appetizer. This is the salad. This isn't, I guess this is appetizer 2, if you will. That was the, I guess this was the chips and salsa that they deliver to the table when you first get to the Mexican restaurant. This is the chips and queso that you order when you get there. And then the entree is actually not my game. The entree is John versus Jake. So Jake is white, John is black, which I guess I should have said on these previous games, though it was obvious that I was white on both of them. And you could see on bottom that Spencer is white on both of them. But yeah, so the entree, before we get to the dessert, which is John versus Jake. And I say it's the entree because this was probably the game of the tournament. Both this game against Jake, John's game versus Jake, and my game versus Jake could be considered the game of the tournament. This was electric. So what ended up happening here was Jake plays a very standard, like he plays this kind of all the time. He plays his standard kind of like almost like a London game, but it's not London because John's not playing a London. John's playing an Indian. And then Jake just throws the H pawn, which is similar to what he ends up doing against me, which we'll see later. Not quite this, but similar. And John locks it down, says, nope, you're not going there, because if you throw the G pawn as well, I'll just take with the knight, and then you're not actually attacking. So you don't want to lose that G pawn. And Jake's like, all right, makes sense. let me try and grab the center here and just clean hang that pawn. Because John took with the knight, Jake has to take back with the knight so he doesn't lose the queen. Unless, I guess, he moves the queen, but realistically, that's the right move. John takes with the bishop, and Jake just locks the bishop in, which I don't fully recall because this wasn't my game, so I didn't review it as deeply. I don't think this was actually a terrible move, even though that just hangs a pawn. But it's not so simple because Jake is right. Like, he traps the bishop in there. Like, it does, get a little sticky. So John's able to get back out to at least where he was. Jake castles, and John tries to buy space for his bishop when he has to move him back on the next move. But the computer hates d6 here. Absolutely hates d6 here. John really did truly have like a +1.5, +2 advantage from the 2 pawns that he took, and completely gave it all back to like a draw, or potentially I think even white had an advantage. I don't remember, but yeah. So Jake gives the check. He defends with the knight, which I think was also, I don't think that was the best move. I think he was supposed to push c6 because not only is the knight defending, but the bishop's defending. So you actually can play c6. But he puts the knight in there. Doesn't look ridiculous. That's also a side effect of him being able to play, or of him playing d6 earlier. Now, so was the check, but whatever. And then this is where basically the whole game was made and make or break. So Jake locks the bishop in here and attacks the rook, forcing John to move it, and then just kicks the bishop back, which was expected, and starts to develop the knight. So John reasonably castles and says, all right, like, let me go ahead and get out of this pin. Like, this isn't a great spot for a rook, but like, it's not the end of the world. I've got my 2 pawns. I've got my king castled. Like, there's nothing really to worry about in this position. And he's right. And so Jake's like, all right, well, I'm gonna attack. Like, I mean, you act like there's nothing to worry about. Let me give you something to worry about. So Jake hops the knight in, says, all right, let's make some business happen here. And for reasons so John doesn't end up taking here, which makes sense because he doesn't want to get rid of the fianchettoed bishop. And there's not really anything he can do about the bishop. So it's like, that does seem like it's just gonna get taken. So this move makes sense to me from John, where he's not able to defend this bishop, and it's not realistic for him to take the knight in the first place. So he hops this knight in, and my thinking when I saw it was, okay, if he takes the bishop, I'm gonna take this, or what the computer actually liked, which for some reason I didn't see, but John did and was considering it, just didn't play it, is to fork the queen and rook. So you grab the pawn and you're on a fork here, and maybe at the end of it you still do grab this knight, depending on how things play out, and depending essentially if you want to lose this knight in a trade. But John doesn't do that. John just takes back, and all of a sudden, you did all this work, you got up your 2 pawns, and you castled your king to safety with your fianchettoed bishop that you made sure to not trade, except that's tasty, because you already took this g-pawn. That was one of the 2 pawns that you won, and now you moved yours out of the way, and all of a sudden, and in this position, John was supposed to play... No, it was... In this position, Jake was supposed to play something else. I'm going to start on the analysis, because this was actually pretty critical. And Jake didn't actually play it right, and John could have actually been, like, fine. Yeah, it's supposed to be bishop takes. Why is it? What is the move here? Like, what if it is just d takes? It's just rook g1. Oh, because you can't bring the knight back. So Jake pushes this bishop in, and me and John both thought the only reasonable move is to take, because if you don't take, it's just gonna get taken by Jake, and then he's gonna be lining these things up, and you're gonna be in a sticky situation. Apparently he can get away with bishop f6. I do not understand, but I guess it's the same thing that essentially ended up happening, where you play knight g6. And even if he like builds it all the way up, you're kind of fine because you do still have the bishop here, and you might be able to move the rook over if you move the king over. Like, you might be able to find something out of it. Instead, me and John both thought the same thing here, which is that the only thing that you can do is take, and that is not the right move. John thought he was fine, and I thought he was fine as well, because even after the queen takes, you can just hop the knight back. The file's closed. Sure, the file is closed. Until it's not. John resigned here because technically you can play like this or something to like survive for half a second longer. Because if he takes with the queen, you can kind of like go back and... Wait, no, what is it? No. What is the move? Oh, no, it's to sack the queen so that you can then... Oh, buy a square or something. I don't actually fully know. So you sack the queen because if you do this, this pawn is actually defended for another move. Now, Jake can still take the queen on this move, so it's still m4, but yeah, I mean, John just resigned here because it's pretty straightforward. It's no matter what black plays. First off, the king literally can't move. You try and buy a square, it doesn't actually buy a square. You know, you try and buy a square, it doesn't actually buy a square because now this is just this, because the bishop and the pawn cover these. So it's like there's no way to buy a square. I mean, you see the M in the eval. So that was essentially the entree, I'll call it, because that game was pretty crazy. To see it go, just like quick review, to see it start like very simple before Jake says, "I'm aggressive," and John says, "No, you're not." And Jake says, "Okay, yeah, I'm..." He doesn't actually say aggressive. He did just clean hang that pawn. "I'm aggressive." And John says, "No, you're not." And Jake says, "Oh, yeah? I'm aggressive." And John says, "No, you're not." And Jake says, "I'm aggressive." And John says, "No, you're not." Until he is. Until it was just aggressive enough that it could not be stopped. So, that was the game between Jake and John. So, me and Jake are now in the finals at this point, and this is the game that was played. And this, if the last game was not the game of the tournament, it's because this one was. So, Jake is playing white again, so this is my first game of the tournament as black. And I'm going to flip it so you see my perspective instead. And so you see the same games that I always play, because I play literally the same opening all the time against, you know, whatever responses I get. I have a dedicated book that I do not change from. Jake's very similar. And so he plays this sort of same opening. He doesn't get as aggressive as quickly because I'm not showing that I'm fianchettoing with the king side and therefore gonna castle on that king side, so Jake doesn't feel the obligation to throw that h pawn right away, so he doesn't. But you still see it looks very similar. This is all book for me. This is all book. This is not. I sat on this and I was like, okay, I know that's not good, and I know that's not book for me. I'm out of book, but I also know that I'm better, which actually I am curious. What is the analysis here? But I sat on this for a second. I was like, I really considered meeting Jake with Jake and basically saying, okay, this is bad. I know this is bad. You're aggressive. I know you're aggressive. Can I out-aggressive you and take advantage of this weird move that you just played? And I thought through, I was like, if I play this, it's like a fork, but like realistically, if he plays this or whatever it might be, like, am I gonna take? Like, do I have the gall to actually take? And I was like, no, like, I really don't think I'm gonna do that. So I was like, if I do this, I'm just essentially wasting a move. Like, yeah, it is aggressive. And if I was the type of person to be aggressive, I'm sure I could continue the aggressive attack. But that's just not who I am. And apparently the computer agrees that it's actually not that good of a move. And so I'm like, no, I'm going to play what is oftentimes considered book in either this opening or openings like it. Just E6. And sure enough, it was top engine move. You let it think for however long it thinks, and it loves it. And Jake says, all right, I've had enough. That was why I played F3. And I'm like, I to be bluntly honest, when he played F3, I did not consider it was because of G4 at all. I was just like, that is just a bad move. Like, I was like, I do not understand what we're doing here. But it was for G4. And I was like, okay, but I just walk away, and even when you throw this, I'll just buy a square, which apparently I was supposed to play H5, which in hindsight makes a lot of sense, but I didn't, because I kind of wanted him to push this, but he actually doesn't do that. And I was like, oh, that's annoying, because if I play H6 and he plays H5, then he's basically never playing G5. Realistically, like, it's just not an easy move to play, I should say. It's easy for me to keep eyes on. And as long as he never plays G5, I can develop a knight, and even if that is when he does play G5, I have different places I can go, right? That pawn would be hanging, whatever it might be. So I was really hoping he would play H5, but he actually doesn't play H5, even though it actually would have been a solid move. The computer likes it. But he doesn't play H5. He plays another solid move, which is to try and get the bishops off. And I say, okay, we can get the bishops off, but I want to take back my queen. And Jake says, actually, no, I don't want to take the bishops off. And he just develops his knight here, because I'm also attacking this bishop. And I say, okay, well, it was technically free on a move ago, because you put the bishop here blocking the queen's defense of this, but it wasn't really free, because if I took the pawn, you take the bishop, and if I do anything else with the knight, you take this with check, and then I only get the 2 pawns, and then probably end up losing my knight, whereas you get the bishop and the pawn, and it just doesn't really work. So I couldn't take it yet, but I bring the queen out, and when he brings, funny enough, another defender, it doesn't do anything either, because I brought another attacker, which is another reason why I brought the queen out. So I go ahead and take, and this is where it starts to get a little interesting. It gets more interesting in a few moves, but this is where it starts to get a little interesting, because here's where he takes. And now it's like, okay, we need to start to calculate how things are going to start flying off this board. So, because on one hand, I'm up a pawn, right? I took my pawn, but I'm only up a pawn if I can get out of this the same way that I got in, essentially. If I can get out, whatever. If he takes a bishop, I take a bishop. If he takes a knight, I take a knight. I can only hold on to the pawn if it's equal trades from here on out. So he takes the bishop, and I was really looking at knight takes f3 with check. But I didn't like trying to take this pawn to get out of it. And I don't really know why. I think it was because if I took this with check and then got out, he would just like save the bishop. So then all I did was grab pawn, 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 where he grabbed the bishop, and I'm just down a bishop for 3 pawns. And I was like, I really don't want to do that against Jake, who's like definitely just going to sacrifice whatever, his bishop for another pawn or whatever it might be, and open up a, you know, basically I have 3 pawns that he doesn't, but he wants to get rid of his pawns. Like I've seen him take advantage of not having pawns. So I was like, I really don't want to go, you know, take 3 pawns and lose a bishop. That just doesn't sound like the style that's going to get me a win here. So first I take this knight because he essentially has to take back. He can't really take here because I'll just take this, and I guess he could take there. Not I'm realizing it, but he doesn't, which is actually kind of surprising because it does leave open this pawn for the queen to take once I get the bishop out, and he can't yet castle. It takes an extra move for that to happen. So when I do take back with the bishop, which is top engine move, and he does move the queen here, I am actually supposed to take this pawn, and I really just didn't have the gall to do it. It's not that much better than anything else, but it is top engine move. But I didn't like it because if I take here, he takes here, and then he can whatever buy himself, you know, this space, and then this pawn's hanging, and it's just like, actually now I am really curious, what is the situation here? Why does he not play this? Is it just because I step up? King e7 or d7. Yeah, so I play something like this, and then he like goes here or something. Apparently like bishop c5, and I'm just good. I don't know. I didn't really, because wait, what about this? Oh, the queen's defending. I don't know. I didn't fully go down this line. I saw that it takes a pawn with check, and then he's able to save the rook anyway, and I was like, I don't want to go that route. Let me go ahead and essentially let me see if I can still castle. Or castle, to be bluntly honest. Because he's now, I didn't want to go this way because this bishop, but if I got the bishop off like by kicking it or something, then maybe I can castle that way. But I was like, let me see if I can castle one way or another. So I just play a6 to stop this check from happening, and he castles, and I develop a bishop. All solid moves, both sides. And this is where Jake says, okay, I tried being aggressive earlier, it was fine, I've got my king to safety, I'm going to be aggressive again. And he pushes g5. And I play top engine move here, which is saying, okay, let's just get the queens off. I'll either like fix my structure or like build up a 4-on-3, or we'll figure something out. I mean, I guess if I did that, I would hang this, but then I could like develop like with tempo or something. I guess I wouldn't because that would be hanging. I don't know. Essentially, let me fix my pawn structure or something, see what can happen. Jake says, no. What if I fork you? And I actually didn't really see that move. And I wasn't too worried yet. I was like, okay, Jake is being aggressive. It is working. I am stressed. But there's no way I'm losing yet. And I was right for the wrong reason. Apparently I was supposed to play d4. I did not play d4. But my thinking was, I'm going to line up this rook to the queen, to the king, to this pawn, to this open file. Like, Jake's went and opened these files like he did against John so that he could attack John's king. What if I use the files that I let him open up, right? Which actually I think with this pawn, I ended up trading it down, so I opened it up. But regardless, I was like, what if I start using these open files? Like, if Jake's going to be so aggressive, let me be the aggressor. Let me also take advantage of him being aggressive. And my thought process with this move was, so I spent a while deciding on rook c8, because obviously there's like bishop f8. I just straight up didn't see d4 at all. I'm not gonna lie, because to be bluntly honest, I really don't get how it works. How does that work? Why doesn't he just take? I guess because he can't take with that because I take here, but then he's still. That's with check, and that's the problem, I guess. Oh, and I guess I'm just up a piece. When did I go up a piece? Oh, because I took the bishop. Anyway, I don't want to spoil the game. I accidentally went forward on the wrong line. I thought for a while on this, and I said, I'm going to put the rook here. Because my thinking was, if he takes this pawn, which he does, and computer hates it, I'm going to play a check that exposes mate, essentially. And my thinking was, he can't block, he can't take, because neither of those actually stop mate on c2. So he's gonna have to step to the side, and he does. And I guess it wasn't until here that I was like, wait a second, this isn't so certain. First off, this whole time this rook is hanging. Just like, if he gets a move, that's just free. No questions asked. Second off, if he does take the rook, then this knight is hanging. And then if he starts walking this through and he can promote, like, this is a problem if I don't solve it soon. And so for a while I think, do I play this check with the queen? He's just going to move over, though, and I can't sacrifice because he'll take, and this isn't mate because there's still another rook. And I was like, man, maybe this doesn't work. And I was right to think that this doesn't work. Because what I should have done was to go here, which does the same thing, but directly wins the queen. Because it's not going to be mate. He's going to save himself. He's going to walk over. And if I play something here that, like, I can give this check and he can go here. But otherwise, it's just going to boil down to this. And he's going to be losing. But that's not what happens. I give the check, and I just, like, didn't think that he could actually get away, because I was like, but wait a second, I can just take with the rook and prepare another check. But it's not another check if he walks away. But then I was like, but if he walks away, I can, like, win this knight and then win this, and, like, and my idea was he can't take this yet, and he can't take this yet, because if he takes the rook, that's just mate. If he takes the bishop, what was the idea? That gets the bishop back, if you will, with check, and then I can win the bishop after it. The bishop with the knight. What's up, Huea? I remember that name, but, like, not really. You followed on... Did you follow on Forza? Welcome back. But anyway, I give this check preparing, or I give this not check. I take the pawn, preparing a check. And my thought was, he can't actually get away with taking this bishop. What did I think he was going to do? Oh, no. Because it was when I played this that I was thinking about the bishop. I was thinking that, okay, wait, if he takes, I give a check, and he takes the bishop, then I'll still be able to get through. Man, I don't know what I thought. I think maybe I only ever thought about him taking the bishop here, that he can't take it here because it's mate. But once he got here, I gave this, and to be honest, I didn't think of the next move. Like, I was like, this isn't really going to work if he just walks the king away. Like, if he just walks the king away, I have to try and win this knight. But then, like, he could just take the bishop. I take a bishop. He wins the rook. I have to try and defend it or something weird. And he trades the queens off, whatever it might be. But unfortunately for him, he does take the bishop. And that does just lose his queen. So... it's not game over. It's -3, -4. He does now finally move over, like he obviously has to, and I win the queen. He attacks the two rooks, which is not actually a great move because I just kick him. But he tries to play tricky here, and I was like, dang. You wildin'. You wildin'. Because it's actually, like, not even that good of a move. Like, if I take and you go here, like... okay, like, you'll just take this, I'll take this. And it's apparently not great. What was I supposed to do? Oh, rook e7 to kind of trade it off, I guess. I have to play g takes. Oh, because if I take, he takes back with check. That makes sense. I don't see how this is, like, very different from what was just played, but whatever. One of the Force guys who raced you a bunch of the rivals. Nice. Anyway, that's not what happened. I go ahead and be careful about it and play rook e7 in the first place. And at this point, it's kind of just a matter of time. He attacks the rook. I just kind of move it over. And he tries to attack the pawn, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm not opening this file with that knight there, so I'm just gonna push it. And at this point, it's like there's really not much you can do. And so he brings the bishop to defend the pawn so that he can move the knight down in the meantime, and attack the queen. But I was like, okay, like I'll just defend the d pawn still. Like, we'll get out of this alive. So I go ahead and push this. If he tries to give rook c8, the knight takes, so he can't do that. So he tries to kind of like bring his pieces around to bring the bishop down, and by this time I castle, and he's like trying to win the pawn. Doesn't quite work. Tries to attack the rook. I just develop further, and at this point, the attack is done. My king is castled. My remaining pieces are developed, and I am up a queen for a piece, essentially. A piece and a pawn, actually. No, I'm up a queen and a pawn for a piece. And it's, I mean, there's not much you can do. So he moves the bishop back, and he played this, and I was like, all right, that's officially game over. Like, because at this point, it was like, I'm just kind of playing against what he's playing. Like, you know, he's whatever, attacking a queen, I move. He was attacking a pawn, I move. You know, he's trying to develop, I just castle and get to safety. He attacks a pawn, that's fine, I'll attack. Like, at this point, it was like, you attack my rook, I move. And then it was like, he played this move, and I was like, oh. Like, can we shake hands? Like, so I take the rook, I take the bishop, and I take the pawn. And I was fully expecting knight e2, because it attacks the queen and defends the rook. And then I would have gone queen d2, except he doesn't play that and just hangs the rook. And I was like, okay. And he resigns. And that is how you become the Pi Knight chess champion. But yeah, it was wild. So if we go back through what the computer actually wanted in all of this, it was basically top engine move all the way up until here. I give him a little, so I mean, depends what you consider like that was obviously a mistake, but it wasn't like bad. And then it was a bad move here, but then a bad move here that doesn't take advantage of it, but then a bad move there that gives it back. So it was essentially Jake made 2 bad moves, I made 1, and that's just game over. 3 years of chess flashcards finally means something? No, it's not 3 years of chess flashcards. I only started them after Pi Knight 2 years ago. Was when I made the first flashcards. And I've only had the streak for like a year and a half, so. And I said when I started, that, which was after the 2023 Pi Knight tournament, I said it when I started that I don't actually expect to be any better by 2024. You know, there was just so many flashcards that I needed to learn that I had already learned. So learning them wasn't actually learning them. It was just wasting time, essentially, getting my deck up to speed. But once I did that, it was like, okay, like every card that I've learned for this past year was like, I learned a card. Like, now it's diminishing returns because when I was starting up, I was learning like at least 3, sometimes upwards of 10 new opening cards per day. But it's because I wasn't actually learning them. I was just getting the deck up to speed. Now that I'm actually learning cards, like it really is only like 1 move per day. 1 new card per day, which is frustrating because it definitely feels like diminishing returns, but I'm trying to tell myself that it's not actually diminishing returns, it's just the return. Like, it's not diminishing returns because it's not, like, I wasn't actually getting the return that it looked like I was getting beforehand. So, but yeah, I don't know, like, I'm definitely leaning towards keeping the I'm definitely leaning towards keeping my chess flashcards and definitely continuing to develop the app. But I really don't know, because I have a kid. And it's like 30 minutes a day, man. Like, it could just be a lot sometimes. So I'm not too sure. Realistically, what's gonna happen is I'll just keep up the streak for as long as it's not like really annoying. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like I gotta go for a repeat. So that's the thing. If I'm going for a repeat, I feel like I have to do my cards, because if I don't do my cards, I'm not gonna remember them, right? Like, in years past, if I just kept doing what I was doing, then I would just keep being the rating that I was, right? Like, it was very easy. Like, there was a year where I literally went from like 800 to like 1400, and then so that was like 2021 or something. 2022, I got up to like 1600, and that was like fine. But 2023, I was still just like 1600, and if I kept doing what I was doing, I would have just stayed 1600. Like, it would have been fine, but it was like I would have just kept doing what I was doing. But then I added the flashcards, so in 2024 I was like still essentially 1600, but it was like preparing me to get better, so that in 2025 now I'm like 1800. Like, it depends when you check my rating, and depends, you know, how you evaluate it. But I mean, you look at my blitz rating, I'm 1797 right now. My highest is 1869, and I haven't been below 1700. I technically ticked below 1700 earlier this month, but I haven't been below 1688 since before I hit the 1869, right? Since the beginning of September. So it's like I am definitely 1700 at this point, to have played 631 games at essentially 1700 plus. But it's like definitely, like, I reached 1869. That was after reaching 1800 a different time. No, I got really close. Never mind. That was the first time I reached 1800. Unless you count this with the little fall afterwards. But yeah, I mean, I reached 1869, fell all the way back down to 1700, reached it again, fell all the way back down to 1700, and I've like reached it again. So realistically, I'm like 1750, but regardless, it's like, call it 1750, call it 1800. It's like I'm basically 200 elo better than what I was last year. So I don't have to keep doing my flashcards, right? I'm just better now. But the problem is, I'm only better because of the flashcards, right? I have to at least tell myself that, even if it's wrong. Right? I'm only better because of the flashcards. But the point of the flashcards is just pure memory. It's not like, it's not inherently practice, right? Like, it is just brute memorization. And the whole point of them is doing them day after day after day after day. So if I'm not doing them day after day after day, then I'm not remembering them. I'm not memorizing them. I'm definitely not learning more, but I'm not even learning the ones that got me to 1750. So essentially, it's like, am I going to fall back to 1600 if that happens? So that's where it's like, I don't know. I think realistically, my goal is just keep doing my flashcards. You know, it's 25 minutes a day. Keep doing my flashcards while I develop the chess flashcard app, and then hopefully I can get it to a point where I can actually transition to the app, and essentially I will just pick whatever, like a deck size or whatever it might be, that is only 10 or 15 minutes a day. Now obviously that's going to have way less returns than spending 25 minutes a day doing it, but the idea is, I don't think I've ever really had a problem with spending 10 minutes a day on my flashcards. Like, I can knock out 10 minutes of flashcards, you know, without even really recognizing that I'm doing flashcards. Like, it's just like, okay, like, we're just playing kind of thing. But once it hits 15, 20 minutes, it's like, oh my god, dude, I'm still not done. I still have 40 cards left, and I'm just like speed scrolling to get through it. And so that's where it's like, I really just want to find a way to not have to do that many. The reason why I described it the way that I did is because it doesn't really benefit me right now to... There isn't really a way for it to take less than 25 minutes for me right now. The only way that I can think of... is to, yeah, maybe change the desired retention. So maybe it's only like, whatever, 85%. But I don't know. Maybe I do that. Maybe I drop it to 85%. So at 89, a 100-day interval, will become 112. So yeah, this will essentially makes the intervals 60% longer. So a 2-day card becomes a 3-day card. So in theory, it should knock me down to almost just 100 cards a day. Holy cow. That was not the button I wanted to hit. That's insane. To get 95%, you have to review more than twice as often. A 100-day interval becomes 9 days. You realize how many cards I have on a 100-day interval? That's crazy. Nah, but I think it's realistic. Like 85, if I did 80, that would be nice. I mean, I'd be reviewing less than half the cards per day. So I'd be reviewing because I've been basically doing 150 cards a day for a while. So this, if it was 80%, I would only have to review like 65, 70 cards a day. It's actually decently less than half. It's not quite a third though, which I guess would be 50. It's closer to half than a third. So yeah, probably like 65. Yeah, almost, yeah, 65. It is 65. Which that sounds a lot more reasonable. To just do 65 cards a day. Have a 100-day interval become a year. Nah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I drop it to 85 for now and then see if I like whatever, the 100 cards that I have to review. Yeah, because 100's not that bad. And some of them are puzzles, anyway. Yeah, let's what's more exciting case you can it's get back against Jacksonville State in the championship or winning Pie Night? Definitely winning Pie Night. Definitely winning Pie Night. Because KSU almost had that locked up before today anyway. If you assume both games were a coin flip, we had a 75% chance of making it. So and it was winning in against a 4-7 team. But if you look at, I guess if you look at the path that I had to the finals in the Pie Night Chess Tournament, I had a 95% chance to beat Ryan, 95% chance to beat Dad, maybe 90% chance to beat Dad, I'd say. I'd probably win 9 games out of 10. So I mean, that alone is what, like 84% chance to make the finals. And then at that point, even if you call my game against Jake a coin flip, which I don't think it is, I think I probably have like a 60% chance against Jake. So then what's 60% of like 84? Is 16 times 3 is like 48. Yeah. I essentially had a 50% chance to win the whole thing once I knew that my line was Ryan, Dad, Jake. Now, obviously, I didn't know my line was Ryan, Dad, Jake at any one given time until I was playing Jake, but and now if I had to play Brent, I think I'm definitely more 50-50 against Brent. What the hell? There's like a weird, almost looks like someone spilled pen ink on my mouse pad. That definitely was not there before. Whatever. Yeah, I would say John probably beats me 6 times out of 10. Brent probably beats me 5 times out of 10, and Jake probably beats me 4 times out of 10. So it really ended up being basically my best path possible, avoiding Brent, Jake, and John to the finals. Crazy. Yeah, no, I guess I have the bracket right here. It's how we do it, though, and I proposed changing it years ago. But, like, it's kind of against the spirit of the tournament to change it. So every year it's, we talk about how is it going to be unfair this year, and usually it's unfair in one way or another. But yeah, so it was, I don't know, y'all can see. Ugh. So we pull names from a hat. We print off an empty bracket, we print off the names in a row on little slits of paper, and we cut them up and literally put them in a hat, and my mom will draw them from a hat. And it's just in order of the numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the order that was drawn was just my aunt, my dad, my uncle, my cousin, and then me, my cousin, and my nephew. And it's like, when you draw it in that order, it's like, good lord, like, I don't have to play anyone, because the 3 hardest opponents for me are all going to be on the other side of the haven't been drawn yet. They're 8, 9, 10. So it was just really lucky. And frankly, Larry is probably like the next hardest one. Like, if I don't lose to Jake, John, and Brent, I'm probably gonna lose to Larry. Well, and if I don't lose to Jake, John, or Brent and don't win, it's probably because I lose to Larry. So, yeah, no, I mean, it was just luck of the draw, really. It was a little bit ridiculous that John had Brent round 1, or Brent had John, however you want to look at it, round 1. And that even once they win, they have to go against Jake round 2, and then me in the finals. There's just no easing up. Brent vs. John round 1 had to be a banger. It actually was like, it was good. I wasn't there for the whole game, so I wasn't able to recall it and put it into the collection on chess.com that I have the other games in. But it was good. It was basically a very balanced opening for probably 10 moves. And Brent had hopped a knight in on the side and was essentially threatening a pawn. And so what he does is he trades off some piece and then takes. Essentially saying, like, all right, let's go, like, essentially saying, like, you know how, like, when I'm in a game of chess, if I'm up a pawn, or definitely if I'm up a piece, a lot of times I just try and trade down. It was almost like Brent saying, okay, I'm gonna be up a pawn, so let me go ahead and trade the more valuable piece now, so he has to respond to that trade, he has to do it, and then I'll win the pawn. So at the end of all of it, it's almost as if I've done take the pawn and trade. And so I'm closer to an endgame that I'm winning. So that was essentially what he did. He traded, it was like a bishop for a knight or something, and then took a pawn. The problem, and the catch was that when he took the pawn, he was also attacking a rook. But the catch was that after trading the piece that he traded and moving the knight, he was leaving his own rook to be taken. So, and it still looked fine. It was like, okay, we're trading bishop for knight, that's fine. I'm taking a pawn, that's intentional. And then after that, I'll take a rook, you take a rook, and in the time it takes for you to get out, I get out. And it all made sense until John took the bait, right? Traded the piece, let him take the pawn, took the rook, and when John got away, he was able to threaten checkmate. So it was like, you trade the piece, he takes the pawn, you trade the rooks, but then John is actually able to get his piece away when Brent can't. So then Brent essentially was down the knight for the pawn. But it's like, it's really interesting because it's like, in most of the games that I play, I feel like if I go down, whatever, a pawn or a piece for a pawn, at my level, it's almost just like, yeah, that's the game, right? Like, what I mean by that is not even that, I'm not even trying to say like that's GG. I just mean like that is the story of the game. Like that is it. Like you lost that pawn, you know, or 2 pawns, or you lost a piece for a pawn, you know, whatever it is. Like that was what happened, and you just couldn't come back from it at 1700, 1800. And that was what it looks like was gonna be with John's game with Brent, where it was like, oh, you're just down a piece for a pawn, that's just gonna be tough to come back from. Except it was almost like at that point in the game, it just fully transitioned to not mattering, in the sense that, like, so John pulled his bishop back to give a check. I guess I could try and see if I can recreate it. Because I'm visualizing it, but I know that y'all aren't. If I set up position, it was essentially like, I don't know, let's do this with John's queen was like here or something. It was like a fianchetto, and he ended up, whoops, not what I wanted to do. He ended up, oh, stop it. It was like this or something, and Brent had hopped in here. I want to say this knight was gone. This was like over here. This is all very like generic. I want to say it was like this. Maybe? No, it wasn't this strong. This was gone. And I think it was this. Essentially. This was gone too. So is this. And then it was castled, right? No, he wasn't castled, was he? No, he was. He was castled. I don't know. Essentially what had happened was, and then that was the piece that was traded. Yeah, so this is basically equal. What had happened was, it was essentially Brent took this pawn, and John was like, okay, I'll take, and then you take, but then I can go here and threaten this checkmate. And so then Brent had to do this, and John was able to take back. No, he didn't take back, though. That's the thing. Hold on. No, he didn't take back. Yeah, he must have taken back. I don't know. And then I stepped away. Like, I saw that, and I was like, dang, that was good. And I assumed that was going to be the end of it, right? Like, you take and just move on. But it ended up getting even crazier. So I'm going to just move pieces around here the way that I remember. It was essentially something like this, and John was able to sneak in here. And what ended up happening was John moved his bishop here, and I want to say it was like Brent took this bishop, and then John, snuck in here? But why would that work? I don't know. And we sat in this position for a while. No, because the bishop was back here. But the queen was like stuck over here. Somehow. It wasn't this exact position, but it was kind of close to this. And essentially the idea was he put his queen in such a bad position, taking whatever piece was over here, that he can't get back to defend. And the idea was that this doesn't look right, because this was a real threat and does not currently look like a real threat because of this bishop. Maybe, he had gone here. Maybe this is close to what the position was. And the idea was that John wanted to go here, but he didn't want to lose the bishop with check and then have Brent be able to like play something to get out. And this wasn't the exact board, but something along those lines. And so what was so dope, first off, John snuck his queen in like this while this was pinned, which was nice, and basically ignoring whatever Brent was doing on the other side of the board. But then after all that was said and done, this bishop is actually defended. It's not like the queen can't actually attack it right now. So John just moved the king up. And I was like, yo, that's cracked, bro. Because I was like, now what does Brent do? Because the idea before was that if you did play this, he could take with check and then maybe get back, and it was like a different position. But now, if you've already moved the king into this position, he can't even take the bishop, let alone with check. And now he has to spend time finding his way back, which, yeah, I think didn't work anyway. And so then John moved his rook down. Actually, I don't even think Brent tried to get the queen out yet. I think what ended up happening was Brent just moved over here or something. And then John took, and then he like tried to come back because there was like a pawn here, so he had to get stopped or something. But then Brent still went here, and he went here, and then it was like this or something. I don't remember what it was. And basically, Brent didn't actually have anywhere that he could go, because it was just going to be mate. And I think they played it out. I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was basically John was up, but John was not just trying to trade pieces down and win in a crazy, like, boring end game. John was like, yeah, cool, I'm up, but, like, I'm just gonna attack. Like, I'm just gonna end this game right now, and just snuck the queen in, aimed the bishop, brought the rook, like, whole 9 yards, and I was like, dog, that was gross. That was sick. Just, like, textbook. So, yeah, no, that was good. And then, yeah, no, like, you guys saw the game with John and Jake, and it was just Jake being aggressive. And it was just like, he gets you sometimes. He just gets you sometimes. So, I am going to drop this to, I want to drop it to 80. I'm not going to lie. If I could just do 60 cards, 65 cards a day. That'd be lit. Because then on top of that, like I've been doing, the number of cards I get wrong per day is like 30. So if this drops to like 12, 13, that'd be a lot nicer as well. Glad to hear there was healthy fantasy football talk and no one tried to kill the other. Dog, y'all missed it. I don't even know the full context of the situation. I'm going to pull a chessboard back up, though, because I think I'm going to need it. Wait, what? What was the Lions news? Why is it not back here again? What are we doing? Okay, fine. I won't traverse your website. That's sick. Yo, I'll be successfully advertised too. That is dope. I should get this for John, because John's actually been playing chess with the high school kids. He started a chess club, so I should get this for him to use in the classroom. That'd be cool. That does look like a good idea. I don't know, maybe if I fail this physical, won't play this year. Oh, that was it? Because I heard that already, but I kind of want to buy this. I kind of want to buy one for me. Like, I have a child now. Like, if this can help him learn chess, that could be really nice. Till I make him use my chess flashcards. I was just assuming Lions news. Yeah, that's probably what it was. Anyway, funnier story than whatever that was. Jake and Brent played a friendly. So, like before the tournament had started, like on Tuesday or Monday or something, Jake and Brent played a game of chess. And long story short, so I was not there for it, but it was something along these lines where this was pushed, this was gone, this was gone. This was like here, this was like here, this was, I don't remember how everything was. This was probably like here or something. I don't know. I never actually saw the full board. I never actually saw the full board, so I don't actually know what the situation was. So don't look into the specifics of it. Essentially, look at the right side of the board. The right side of the board is what I know more of what happened. Oh no, there's like this and this was gone, and it was like this. Let's put it here, because I don't think the knight was like actually attacking anyone. I don't even know it existed, but whatever. And then let's just trade this off to make it equal. It was essentially something like this, where, oh wait, no, because it was like this, I think. Let's say it was something like this, where basically Jake brought the rook in, and maybe it's like this. Jake brought the rook in, and that kicked Brent's queen over here. And then he sacked here. And so this knight may not have been here, but don't pay attention to it. And the king came out, and he gave another check with the next rook. And basically, so that's really all I know, honestly. That was all I heard. But basically, long story short, let's say he blocks with this. I don't even know if that's what happened. Let's just say that's what happens, because obviously you have this whole thing, so like that's just like game over. But let's ignore, like, maybe that wasn't the case. Like, maybe this wasn't even here. Basically, the situation was that Jake had sacrificed a rook for a pawn and like sacrificed another piece or something like that, and then brought the rook up. And the idea was that he was potentially hanging checkmate here on this file if he wasn't careful. And apparently, I tried hitting the arrow. Apparently, like, when the rook was like back here, Jake had like acknowledged it, like said out loud, like, oh, I'm totally like about to hang back rank checkmate or something like that. But like, I gotta do this, and like gives the check, yada yada yada. And then like 3 or 4 moves later, right, like he sacks the rook, brings the rook up, like, you know, there's defense, and then maybe he like gives this attack. Like, I don't actually know the specifics, but apparently it's like 3 or 4 moves later. And, you know, maybe Jake, like, doesn't actually have any more checks to give. And, again, don't look into the specifics of this. Like, if Jake actually played this, Brent would just take, and that wouldn't happen. But, essentially, it was that, like, the position was, like, stabilizing. And so Jake's next move was to just open up an escape for his king, right? So that he doesn't get back rank mated, or whatever it might be. Well, apparently, my dad was watching the game, and Brent claims that my dad, like, pointed it out to Jake, or, like, made a noise, like, oh, or, like, oh, gotta be careful, or something like that, like a little one-off comment, and Brent was really mad, because he was like, dude, like, Jake was totally about to hang that, or whatever, and then what ended up happening is, essentially, like, Brent got mated, like, a couple moves later, and Brent was mad. Brent felt like he could have won if he could have just gotten the back rank checkmate on Jake. And that he got screwed out of the game because, you know, dad spoiled it for him or whatever it might be. Anyway, I give that whole story. It really doesn't matter. But I have to say it because what ended up happening was... So that was played on Tuesday, mind you. And it was just a friendly. It was not in the Pie Night Chess Tournament. It, like, none of that. Like, it was just a game of chess. And they went back and tried to recreate the game on Thursday. Because, yeah, we were about to start eating Thanksgiving dinner. So they go back and start like recreating the game, putting the pieces on the board, the whole 9 yards on Thursday. Neither of them remembered it perfectly, so they couldn't actually make the board perfectly. But Jake was essentially doing what I just did, which was putting the 2 rooks, you know, on this file with the queen on the right diagonal, whatever it might have been, because that was the point of the attack. And so like Jake was kind of putting the pieces that he remembered in together, and Brent was like, no, like it wasn't like that, like this piece was here, like there's no way for that piece to have been there, like how does that make any sense, because like why wouldn't I have just played this or whatever it was, like yada yada yada. And like they're going back and forth, and we're like about to eat Thanksgiving dinner, like we don't care, like it doesn't matter, like. And all of this, just like, even if you guys set up the board correctly and you do successfully claim, like, see, like, you didn't see it, you know, you didn't, you know, see the back rank checkmate, it still comes down to 4 moves ago, Jake said he acknowledged that he was going to get back rank checkmated. Like, he was aware of that situation. Like, and on top of all of that, you didn't back rank checkmate him. Like, he spent a move buying the safety and you still lost. Like, it was just a good attack, like the bottom line. Anyway, all of that. So, but then apparently my uncle, who was there before I got there and left before I got there, like he was just kind of driving through and like for the day or whatever, he actually had spectated the game. And apparently, for some reason that I do not know, had actually taken a picture of the board, like at a critical moment in the game. Except apparently the the picture wasn't even of the full board. It was like a sly, like TMZ screen picture of like half the board, but like you could still see like most of what mattered. Where it's like you could tell the queen was here, you could tell the rook was like here and here, or whatever it was, and it was just like. It's so it was like you could kind of recreate half the image, but then Brent was even claiming it's like, no, that picture must not have actually like been in the real game, because how would that make any sense? Like, why would that piece even be there, and yada yada yada. And it was just like, dude, there's a picture. Like, what do you want me to say, man? No, I mean, it was hilarious. So yeah, so now there's a running joke about being scared of getting back rank checkmated, or like acknowledging that you're about to get back rank checkmated, or just anything related to back rank checkmate is just like, it was really funny the whole weekend. Like, we were playing Quiplash and there was a question, it was something along the lines of like my deepest, darkest fear is, and me and Jake, obviously we don't know, it was Quiplash, but like me and Jake both were the people answering the question. Jake put back rank checkmate and I put having an exposed back rank, and it was so like those are the two quips going up against each other. So fucking funny, dude. So good. So yeah, and then anytime like Brent and Jake were like arguing about it, and like Brent would get like super heated, like, no, it doesn't make any sense, I would just chime in and be like, the Wicked Witch of the East, bro. Like, it was wild. It was actually wild. But yeah, so that's the running joke. So if there will come a time where I will want to drop that in fantasy chat, and I might, or it might be even funnier if you do, but yes. Anyway, I think at this point my goal is not even to learn the flashcards. And so, yeah, I think I am just going to drop it to 80%. Like, my goal is just kind of, like, to do them. Add a review entry to each of your cards and increase the size of your collection. Oh. No, never mind that. Okay. Let's do it. Evaluate. Insufficient review history, performance operation. What do you mean? Oh, because I haven't technically reviewed any card in the chess deck, so I have to do it for like the white, black, and puzzles, whatever. Surprised no trades were made with all you together. Dog, my dad was about to make me vomit, bro. He ended up like concluding in a way that kind of made sense, but it was such a roundabout way to get there that I was like, oh my god, bro, I'm gonna die. Because first off, Luke was offering his first to Dad and Bucky for CMC, and I was like, dog, like, if Luke's offering his first, I am getting in this trade. Like, I don't know what needs to happen, but I am getting in this trade. And it like made sense for me to get into the trade. We ended up essentially taking Bucky out and putting Olave in because Dad was more interested in Olave than I was, or he was, in Bucky. So Luke was going to keep Bucky. But yeah, so it was essentially like him sending Olave and then sending a 1 to me, but then I send a 1 to Dad because I can send a pick this year, and Dad's like rebuilding this year, right? Like, he's already out of the playoffs. And so I get the 28 first, but then I send a first to Dad. But then, like, in doing that, like, I can get whatever Dad was off. So then, like, Dad's giving CMC to Luke, but then, like, the rest of the trade would go to me. So it was like, and then, like, I could maybe neutralize it by giving something to Luke. Like, it was like a whole thing, and like made sense. Like, where I was essentially pushing a first back 2 years, but it was Luke's 28 first. and I was pushing. Luke wanted a 2, that's what it was, and Dad was offering a 2, but it was in 2027, and so that's what it was. So I took Luke's 28 first and Dad's 27-2, and I gave Dad my 26 first. Well, not mine, but Brent's 26 first, and I gave Luke Kenny's 26-2. But then for me to, you know, essentially move a 2 back a year and move a 1 back a year, I pocketed Luke's 3rd this year and Dad's 27/5 that Kenny would have wanted. And I was like, to be bluntly honest, I kind of want to push this 2 back to Dad's next year. I think that's like just a reasonably good trade. And I kind of want to push this 1 back to Luke's 28 first. Like, I think that's a pretty reasonable trade as well. On top of both of those things, I kind of just need to get rid of picks. And on top of those 3 things, I pocketed Luke's 3rd. So I was like, this is like, even if I do see a loss in value by losing those picks and like sending them back a year and 2 years, then it's like, okay, I do actually pocket a 3rd, like they're in a 27-5. Like there is like something from a KTC perspective that I can hang my hat on. And it was like a completely reasonable trade. And at the end of all of it, like initially Dad basically had said CMC for a 1st is like, he was basically saying it's like close. And then he was like CMC for Olave and a 1st. And then he ends up not doing that either. And it was just like, at the end of all of it, he was just like, yeah, I think CMC has some years left, and I think this draft has one good halfback that I will not get, because I will probably draft it in the 101, Jeremiah Love. But Dad was like, yeah, there's basically one halfback, and he's not going to fall to me, so I don't want to have to ship CMC and then need to draft a halfback that I can't draft. That's not good enough for me to draft, so like... He was like, I'm just going to stick with CMC. And I was like, oh my God. So you're admitting that Papa B is the worst person to trade with? I admit that these last 2 days were the most annoying to deal with. Yeah. Well, no. Next to Brent. Definitely next to Brent. But Luke was trying to give me Jennings and a 3 for a 2. Value-wise, I should have did it instantly. But I can't possibly trade for any more wide receivers. I got to take an RB to replace Aaron Jones in the draft. Yeah, we're going to see what you end up doing, because you only have that 2nd round pick, right? And that 2nd round pick's going to be after 6 of mine. And you see the halfbacks that I need. So we might be in business to do something here in a coming months, Wager. Where I trade down one of the picks to the 2nd that you've got, but then pocket something. Unfortunate thing is that is the only pick you have, so I can't pocket like a different pick. It would have to be a player. I don't even know what that would be. I'm gonna pull it up. Actually, hold on. Let me actually do these flashcard things first. I'm gonna hit optimize all presets. And then I'm gonna save this. 106,000 reviews. Jesus. Oh crap. I probably should have synced this first, because I had done some reviews on my phone. Okay. Now what happens if I hit sync? It still says there's 135. So then what if I did options? I assume it didn't save the 80. It did save the 80. Wait, what if I hit save? Sync. What? I just did this, but it says it's been a while, so I'm going to do it again. Oh, is it because I synced from my phone and it got rid of it? Maybe that's what happened. Strange in a 2 for a late 1. Oh, we'll see when the draft comes, but I could see something like that. I say late, but Kenny's a Prince. Yeah! Nice. Yeah, I think I'm going to hang on to my picks until... like at least April, potentially like draft time in May. Okay, so how does... I want to like save that. Yeah, because you're still... Okay, that'll do. Oh, not what I wanted. Okay, why didn't it change today's cards? Also, let me see the stats and see. Okay, wow. Oh, wait, no, that's the puzzles. What the heck? It still says I have 154 cards due tomorrow. I don't get it. What if I did this? Can I do the evaluate again? No, it's got to be the openings color options. Cool. I'm not doing it now. I want to see if Strange can help me now. He probably can. I mean, he looks like he's gonna be solid. I'm actually worried that I'm gonna end up having to overpay for him because he does good at the end of the year here. I don't get this. Why didn't it change what was gonna happen? Does it only change it once I start reviewing them? It's kind of annoying. So I have to go through all of them. And I'm glad I did 80. Oh, that's fun. Oh, it's only 3 presets though. I wish it was like a spectrum. Oh, that's fine. I'll probably have to start him next week when I'm on her. Yeah, I know. You're in a tough spot now. You're in a tough spot. You should be fine, but it's not nearly as simple as it was when you had him. I'll say that. I'll say that for sure. Yeah, it was something along these lines. I guess I can scroll you over. It was something along these lines. Where it was like I traded a 1, 2, 3. Oh, that was what it was. Was Dad was saying he didn't like it, so I tried to throw in another 3 to make it worth it. So I took Luke's 28-3 and gave a 26-3. So by the end of it, I was actually sending back a 1, 2, and 3 to 2028, 2027, 2028, and just pocketing the 3rd this year and the 5th next year. But instead, all of that fell through. And then I tried to do a 4-trade calc with Kenny getting AJ Brown and like me shipping a different first to get the 27 first out of it. But then it like felt like I was just kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Where you like are shoving something in there and I don't know, essentially forcing Kenny into the trade. There's a word. Like it's a simile to like wedging Kenny in there, but there's a different word for it. Whatever. I'm ready to be Papa B by 30 in redrafts and 40 in Dynasty. Nice. Trade makes sense for everyone. Yeah, no, I know. It's just Dad's scared to draft a halfback is really what it boils down to. Because he trades his 2 next year and his 5 next year because Kenny wants it. and a decently old halfback. I mean, I could see the argument of CMC even having 2 years left. I could see the argument on CNC having 2 years left. But, like, dog, you're not building a team to have 2 years left. Like, you're already losing Aaron Rodgers, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Adam Thielen, like, George Kittle, Travis Kelce. Like, you're not in a position to wait 2 years to figure out if Christian McCaffrey has 2 years left. You've got to solve at least one of those guys now. So yeah, it was him shipping an old halfback into next year picks that are not his most valuable, and getting a player he likes in a position he needs, a first round pick in this year's draft, and a third round pick in this year's draft to take an extra flyer at something, since he's obviously in a rebuild position with a lot of old guys. But it's just like, geez, man. I was surprised he didn't accept CMC for a first before the season when I offered it. I mean, yeah. And then CMC ended up having a season where he has 400 touches. But yeah, I could see something along the lines of like, I really feel like I should try and get Bucky basically for a first off of Luke. But again, I want to hold on to my picks. So you were saying something about like you have Brent's 2 this year. We'll see what that turns into. And Strange for not Luke's first, but never in the hospital. Yeah, says I like it. I should probably like it. So if it was this specific trade, it would be a full round, right? From late, either a mid or late first to a respectively mid or late second. And then adding Brenton Strange. See, I don't know. See, one of my bigger problems with this is that if I trade picks back, right, like if I trade my early 2 back for a 1 next year, right, like if I can essentially upgrade a pick by trading it back, that is a reasonable thing for me to do. And to a degree, if I draft the players, that's like kind of a reasonable thing for me to do. But like I have like 15 picks or something ridiculous. How many picks do I have this year? Because it's 4, 4, 5. I don't know, 4. When did I get rid of a third? Whatever. And then I have 4 of them between the 4th and the 5th round. So I have 16 picks. I can't field those guys on my team. I can't do it. I don't have 16 people worth dropping. Even if I fill my last IR spot, I don't have 15 people worth dropping. So I'm not actually going to be using all of my picks this year. So it's like, if I trade them back to later years, that makes sense. But I don't know. It's like doing a trade like this is hard for me to make reason of, because I'm just gonna do 150, because it doesn't really solve my problem. I'm still using a pick in this year's draft and then also having to hold on to another player, so it's like actually making the problem worse. It's not even the same thing. So that's where it's like my real strategy, not that you would do this, but my real strategy should be something along the lines of like this, where I essentially trade an early 4 and a 2 that's later than the other 2 to go up in the draft. That's essentially what I should be doing. And that way I'm like essentially combining the value of my draft capital into players that are more valuable so that I don't need to hold on to 16 of them, and the ones that I'm holding on to are worth holding on to. So I thought he'd be good, but nowhere near this good. I don't think anyone expected this much receiving work. Yeah, I mean, leads the league in receptions if you don't count games that have happened this week that CMC has unfairly not been a part of. Right, because we're halfway through the week. I don't want Bucky, but Luke hates me. I don't know. Brent, my family is apparently not high on Bucky Irving. They really do not think that he's about to keep that job, which is very interesting. Because, like, sure, he'll split it, but, dog, he split it before, and he was getting 15 points a week, at least. What are we talking about? Realistically, I'm going to end up doing something like this. Realistically, it'll be something like this, where it's an early 2, a mid to late 2 for a first that's not even this year. And the reason I say something like this is because I essentially, if I am going to trade multiple picks this year for a singular, more valuable pick in a later year, then it probably needs to be to someone that wants picks this year, particularly has picks next year. And actually, as a matter of fact, offer Luke K9 Strange and a 2 for Bucky, and he instantly declined. Luke right now, and to his credit, I actually don't hate it, is really just trying to win. Like, and that's why he wanted CMC. So he's not going to trade someone who can put up 25 points in one slot for 2 people that are going to put up 10 in another. So, to his credit, I actually understand, whether I agree or not is a different story, understand why he would decline that trade. Now, yeah, I don't think I agree, because I think Luke needs to ship his whole team. I just do. I think now he's like the Dallas Mavericks, where there's just no benefit to him doing that because he doesn't own a pick until 2030, but of his own. But yeah, I mean, if I were him, that's what I would do. I would get his first back from Kenny. I mean, as long as you have your as long as he gets his 27 first back, he already has his 28 first, and the rest doesn't really matter if it's your pick, right? Like, you don't need, as much as I caused a whole debacle over this over the summer, you don't need your second round pick. Like, yeah, I mean, it can help, especially if you're tanking, and frankly, I think you should get it, because if you're tanking, the 11th pick is another valuable pick. Like, I think there's a steep cutoff after around, like, somewhere between 12 to 15. I think there's a steep cutoff. So if you can get the 11th pick, I do think that is another valuable one. So if you are tanking, you should go for your 1 and 2. But man, I mean, I think if Luke can just get his first round pick back, then it doesn't matter that he doesn't have his own 2. If he trades his players away and just gets a lot of picks, I think that's enough for him. And I think he can spend some time just trying to pick people up off waivers, like I was doing this year, and seeing if they hit and hoping for the best. But yeah, I don't think he can realistically afford to try and compete for much longer. I think if he makes that's another reason why I wanted that 28 first. If he makes that CMC trade where he gets rid of Olave and his 28 first to pick up CMC, I think he's screwed. I think he's absolutely screwed. I don't know that it saves this season, and I know he's screwed in the future. Because at best, in my eyes, at best, CMC is good next year. And maybe Luke's 27 first isn't good. but he traded away his 28 first. And there's just no way. Just no way. I told him, whatever you do, please don't trade your 28 first. Yeah, no, I mean, he's... I will say, if he beats Brent this week, all is fair for him to try and win a chip this year, right? Like, we fight for 14 weeks to try and get the bye, but Luke is not getting the bye. But if he beats Brent, he's got as much of a chance to win it as Brent. He's got as much of a chance to win it as Kenny. Right? Like, you could argue he has less of a chance to win it than you would Straighten. Just because he doesn't have the points for, so he can technically still make the playoffs, whereas, like, y'all won't. But, like, if he wins this week, he's essentially in the playoffs. Because Brent plays Kenny next week, and Luke plays me. So if Luke wins this week and he's tied... So the worst case scenario for Luke would be if he wins out, he beats Brent, he beats me, but Brent beats Kenny and Kenny beats Jake. That would be the worst case scenario for Luke, because then Kenny would still get the win over Luke. Or no, Kenny and Brent would still get a win to stay tied with Luke, and both of them would be fighting him for more points for. I think Kenny actually has less, so Kenny would get screwed in that position unless he went off. But yeah, Straighten can win the league or lose the first round by 50. His team's so boomer bust. Dude, I want Straighten's future firsts so bad. I think he'll probably be fine again next year. Fine. And by that, I mean he'll probably just survive and make the playoffs kind of thing. But I don't think it'll be as powerful as it was this year or last year. I think he's screwed after that. I think he is so done after that. Because he's going to lose... Because essentially, he doesn't, like... I don't know. He doesn't follow... He's not active enough, I think is the bottom line. He doesn't follow fantasy football enough to be a strong dynasty player. I mean, Montgomery's what, 28? Yeah, Montgomery's 28. So in 2 years, it's not right, like he might be good next year, but in 2 years he's going to need to replace him. Taylor's fine. Josh Allen's fine. Puka Nakua's fine. Zay Flowers is fine. Nico's fine. Dalton Schultz is fine, and Kincaid's fine. But he'll have to replace Montgomery, Ertz, maybe Goff, and definitely Stafford, I think, by the end of next year. And that's just to have a starting lineup, right? Like, at least two people just have a starting lineup. So it's like, okay, what does he have on his bench? He won't have Kamara. I think he'll have Malik Washington, but whatever. Greg Dortch and Pat Freiermuth, like that's who's starting in your starting lineup. And then yeah, it's just like I don't know, man. I can't believe he's so screwed. Kraft and T on IR. I think he'll be fine. Okay, so he'll put Kraft and T in there, but so like he'll still survive, and that's kind of what I think he'll do next year, but he still has bye weeks. He still has injuries, right? Like we don't see Kraft and T because they're hurt. Like he's gonna have Puka Nakua out for 4 weeks, right? Jonathan Taylor, right? Like breaks an ankle. Like someone's gonna break their ankle. Someone's gonna tear their ACL. And it's just like, okay, cool. When Ertz is gone, when Montgomery's gone, he can replace them with Kraft and T. And if Stafford's gone, you can replace him with Goff. But it's like, bro, what about bye weeks? What about injuries? It's like you're really gonna have to rely on your draft or filling a damn roster, and you're just not doing that, man. Like, I don't know. Terrence Ferguson and Arroyo. I have no trust in Arroyo. After seeing how this year's gone for A.J. Barner, I have absolutely no trust in Arroyo. But maybe Ferguson. I still don't really have much trust in Ferguson. Just because it's like, dog, they're running 3 tight ends and you're not any of them. Like, what are we talking about, man? Like, Higbee's hurt, and you're still not the top 2 tight end. So, I don't know. I mean, obviously he has his draft picks, so he'll be able to replace them one at a time. But he doesn't even fill his, like, I don't know. I'm here for the day where he goes through his whole draft just to drop his whole taxi so that he can put his other players in taxi, but he doesn't need to drop them because by putting the other players in taxi, you have empty bench spots now that you could have put them in. Like, I am so ready for him to do that, which admittedly, this guy wasn't on, I guess he was for 2 weeks. I didn't think he was on a team. Yeah. I don't know. That is a lit emote. Oh my god. Anki Percy. Let's go. You know what? I gotta do my flashcards. I got it. Oh, I have a question for you. And I think I know the answer, but I just want to confirm it. So I was going through here and trying to update my let me full screen it so y'all can see a little better. No, don't zoom in like that. No. Okay, I guess that's fine. Doesn't need to be this big, but it is. This was at 90. I wanted to lower it to 80. I considered 85, but I figure let me just jump to 80 because I won the Pie Night Chess Tournament. And now I'm looking at chess flashcards like, man, I don't know that I really want to keep doing this, at least to the degree that I am. So I was like, let me drop it from 90. I considered 85, but I settled on 80. But it still says this, and I still have 150 cards to do today and like tomorrow as well. Like I have 150 cards, so it didn't actually like change the intervals. So should I switch this? If I do, will it change that essentially? Or should I just like kind of go through my cards and let them create their new intervals? Like, I don't know if there's a standard way that people usually go about this process. But yeah. Because I would love to not have to do 25 minutes of flashcards every day. I would love to be slightly worse at my flashcards by taking less than half the time. Doing them every day, taking 10 minutes every day instead of 24. All right, let's just keep knocking out some flashcards in the meantime. So I got this wrong earlier, so I would just change it to 80 and then do them from now on, but I think there's a setting to change all at one time. Change all the intervals or something, I forget. Yeah, there was, but it was like I did it and it gave me like a super warning and I was like, oh, maybe I don't do that. I don't know that I'm confident that I want to do what you're warning me not to do, so I didn't do it. But I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully, I mean, obviously tomorrow is still gonna be like the same 25 minutes, which is kind of annoying. But hopefully by like Monday, it can start to be at least a little bit less. Because having a kid and a job and not needing to do these chess flashcards anymore really makes me not want to do these chess flashcards anymore. Wait a second. Rook. Take. Castle. That one's a hard one. There's a lot of cards like it where the queen would go out, but for that one it's apparently castling. Pawn. Man, I haven't done flashcards on stream in a while. Yeah, usually I just don't add new cards for a while if I want to save a lot of time. Do you still plan to add more cards now, or not for now? I have it adding 1 card per day. Which admittedly, actually, now that you got me thinking about it, it probably is actually better to do 0 cards per day. And just like do it in spurts, like do 0 cards per day for like however long I want to. And then whenever I want to start learning cards again, maybe I just tick it up to like 5 cards per day for like whatever, a week, a month, or however long, and then shut it back down. Because as it sits right now, with the 1 card per day, it's trying to have me learn them in like, so I learn new cards based on how well I know the parent. That's annoying. And so when I mature a parent, all of its children become the next card, the next new card that I will review. Well, that parent might have 5 children, right? There might be 5 common answers, or 3 common answers and 2 weird ones that I just happen to have done already. There might be 5 answers that it can choose from for a new card. Well, if I'm learning 1 card per day, then it's going to take me 5 days to see potentially the same answer, right, for all of them. Right, because it's like, right, like after this move, right, like I should, wait, hold on, what is it? I should play knight f6. But if instead of taking the pawn, he plays bishop c4, then I'd learn a different card where this knight hasn't gone there, it's bishop c4, and I'm supposed to learn to play bishop b4. Right, so those 2 cards, learning knight f6 or learning bishop b4, those 2 different cards I would learn on 2 different days. And I think what I'm trying to say is, I think it would be beneficial if I learned them on the same day. And be like, okay, when he takes the pawn, I can bring the knight out, but if he doesn't take the pawn and is aggressive, like, I have to be aggressive, or whatever it might be. It's like, I feel like if I just learned all 5 children of a card on the same day, then I feel like I would have a better chance of retaining each of those 5 answers to those children. So it's like right now I'm only learning 1 card a day, but it's like I actually don't know that that's a good strategy. Like, I might be worse off. I like batching cards sometimes 'cause it's better for learning at times. Yeah. And obviously it can be more annoying, right? Like I might take, you know, how much I'm learning and go from whatever 20 minutes a day to 25 minutes a day. But that's kind of the point. Like I'm trying to learn new cards. So I always forget this one, dang it. I'm gonna say, I want to say bishop b6, but I don't think that works because he'll just throw the pawn. I think it's bishop b6. Dang it! I was gonna say knight f3. That sucks. Like if you want to learn countries of the world, learning by continents can speed up the process. Yeah, exactly. And I've already considered doing that for just like openings as a whole, like reviewing them. Essentially, like, so I like your countries of the world example. Essentially, right now, I'm just randomly picking countries, right? If I have to review that country, I just do it. I might have to review Pakistan and then Canada and then South Africa and then Spain, right? And it's like, wait. Or whatever, and then like India, and it's like, wait, why don't I learn Pakistan and India back to back first, and then try and learn, you know, South Africa and Kenya, and then, right, because it's like even when reviewing them, I should be clustering them, and I'm not. I mean, I guess I do it for white and black because that's my best attempt at doing it, but I really want to cluster it per opening and be like, all right, let me just do all of my Scotch cards today. And that can force me to see two things back to back that I might not see back to back otherwise, that can help me learn different patterns or discrepancies between, two siblings that, can help me learn the process of these opening cards. Rook? Okay. I was not confident in that one. It took me a very long time and a dedicated pause to make sure I got right. Knight? Okay. Boy. Whew. I'll probably have to get off here soon. Hopefully I can knock out these flashcards, because hopefully I can get to sleep, because I am tired. I can't remember if you take the pawn or not. I'm going to take the pawn. Okay. FREE, that spells free. CreditReport.com, baby. Blow it up. I forgot how much I like listening to music while doing this. Holy cow. Alright, we need to bring Spotify back, even if I have to mute it to stream. I probably will sing along, though, so I probably, will keep that up there on top of the screen. Sweet and low, wow. Let's, top 10 commercial all time? I don't know about all that. Maybe. Are the Harry Potter audiobooks in here? I didn't know Spotify had audiobooks. There's 3 of them. Wait, no? Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, Goblet of Fire is 4, Prisoner of Azkaban, okay, and then Goblet of Fire. Then 5 is Order of the Phoenix. 6 is Half. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Serpents. Nice. Half-Blood Prince. And yeah, Deathly Hallows. Okay, yeah, so you can definitely just like listen to the Harry Potter audiobooks on Spotify. There's Wicked. I actually started doing some chess flashcards to test out a cool chess add-on I found. Hey, yo! Let me know how it goes. Let me know if you can win the Pie Night chess tournament with it. Very interesting that those audiobooks are on here. I would not have expected that. That's actually really nice. I might, I could see that. Add-on's cool because you can move the pieces within the flashcard. Dang it! Dang it! That's essentially like the whole benefit of the app that I'm making. Whatever. I don't want to hear it. It's fine. I'll be fine. Wow, I really get all these audiobooks just for... Oh, no, I don't. Oh my god, that's $33. What do you mean? Holy cow. Why is the audiobook $33? They're all $33. Oh my god. That one's $49? Why? What, you get me hooked by having two of them be $33? Three of them? And you go 49, 49. Where's the other one? 49. Tell me the last one's more. Tell me the last one's more than 49. Okay, it's 49. Jesus Christ, man. I mean, that's $300 essentially for the Harry Potter audiobooks. Good Lord. Yeah, I don't care that much. Also because I actually have some of them on Audible. I think each card has an HTML file or something associated with it. Not sure, but yeah, I think it contains all of the code, and it just displays that. It also has a built-in chess engine, works on mobile as well. Crazy. Jeez. No, that is lit. Let me know how you like it, because I bet you that's essentially what I want to do with my flashcards. I don't know. I'm still probably going to keep doing the app because I think I can make it just the way that I want it and feel more comfortable making it the way I want it by making the app. But let's it looks good. Study games. Holy cow. Huh. Interesting. Works offline and on Anki Droid. iOS, yeah. Huh. Page not found. Why'd you link your GitHub? Towel sniffer? Jesus, dude. Alright, maybe I don't download his companion app, but... And it's only 30 kilobytes? Wait, how do you have the chess engine in there? Oh, wait. For my chess template, that's it. Oh, well, here we go. Standar. Oh, you guys can't see my screen, I'm realizing. Oh well. Supported nags? Worst move. Huh. Holy cow. Black has severe time control pressure. Blame? Interesting. I don't know. This is very interesting. Jesus. Import a PGN file directly into Anki. Convert a PGN of chess games to a text ready to import into Anki. Chess PGNs into flashcards. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks it looks like exactly what I would want. So like, yeah, I wish I had started with it though, because I don't think I'm gonna transition to it at this point. That feels like a lot. I wish Master would separate client trace instead of reading them and doing nothing. Fair. All right, we're just gonna listen to this playlist. No, not duration. Sure, and then I gotta mute this. Sorry. Glad that wager got Doug Dimmadome out of the way, because you guys will not hear if you redeem that again. Because I have muted my music. Oh, I should probably pull that up so you can at least see the timer scrolling. I was in Ireland. Day. Wait, what? I just be jamming, dude. How's your mile, Puke? I wanted to do that, but I thought it was Castle first and then 97. Dang it. I heard that, even if y'all didn't. All over me. I just saw this. Okay. Be cool if they had a Shogi version of the app. Might try to vibe code a simple version of for Shogi. Okay. Ugh. What is Shogi? For a second, I was thinking it was kanji, and then I remembered the name kanji, and I realized it was not kanji because that's what kanji is. Japanese chess. Oh. All over me. That's interesting. Yeah, go ahead and just like get ChatGPT to build something up. Strange would not be the lowest ranked tight end on your roster. Sorry, I have to jump in on that because is he the highest rated on your roster? Wait, hold on. He would literally be your highest rated tight end. He's been out. He was on IR. Yeah. He's missed time. Basically similar to chess, but the main difference is captured pieces can come back. That's lit. It was like dodgeball. Yeah, Strange would be the best tight end on your roster from a value perspective. And sadly, to the status of your team, likely would be second. I will say, Strange is 2890. Luke has 2793, 2682, and 2673. In other words, he has the 15th tight end. Strange is the 15th tight end, and he has 16, 18, and 19. It's a 3-1. That offer blows. I mean, yeah, I didn't like it. I thought you should decline it as well. But saying he's the lowest ranked tight end of your roster is heinous. Oh my god, you have K. Dot at 24. Dream as one. Can Ben Sinnott just like play tight end, please? He's rated higher than Zach Ertz. That's hilarious. Ends up being like doing chess puzzles on steroids the entire game. It's extremely tactics heavy. Game usually is just back and forth tactical attacks on each other's king until checkmate. No real end game since pieces just continue to come back. I guess that's pretty cool. That does essentially force the game of chess to be the fun type. The sky, you let me dream, we dream as one. Holy cow, Ronda Gadsden. The liquidity feature is pretty lit. As one. Anyway, now I need to get back to my flashcards after making fun of Luke. How's your mile, Luke? Dream as one. I really wish that my child is asleep when I'm done streaming, because I'm gonna want to be asleep as well. Oh. I'm gonna mark that heart. Oh! What do you mean that's the answer? Of another guy. They told her, waiting on the love of a traveling soldier. Oh, soldier to come back again. And the letter said, soldiers coming home. I can't believe I got that wrong. I stared at it for way too long to get it wrong. This one. Okay, alright. Then I'm glad that I marked the other one hard. Vietnam bits. Nice! I cannot believe I got that right. So all your flashcards either puzzles or an opening. Do you make flashcards for like mistakes in the middle of a game or end game? No. So I've considered making flashcards for end games using the end games built into chess.com, but I couldn't find like that you can use to study, but I couldn't find like a good way to do it. Essentially, like chess.com has end games that you can study for like queen versus rook, or knight and bishop, or you know whatever the other. I think is two bishops a thing. I think two bishops is a thing, but so they have essentially like end games that you can study, but it's like I couldn't figure out a way to turn it into a flashcard, essentially. Long story short. And then I haven't considered looking into my mistakes. It actually wouldn't be that hard, though, now that you mention it. But I could see it. It would essentially be a puzzle, in a way. I think the problem with trying to add ones where I made mistakes is it might not be, like, I guess, straightforward. For example, I could have played a move that gave my opponent a 2-point advantage, but there could have been 4 moves that didn't. And so that it's, like, similar to the problem I'm having with openings. Do I care, I guess, to make a card for that? Like, yeah, I shouldn't have picked the card that the answer that gave him a 2-point advantage, but like did I need to pick the one that was the best? Like, so it's like, I could see it, but like also, I'm not sure how worth it would be. Ooh, let me flip the laundry just because I remembered it. Sorry, yellow card and Avril Lavigne. You have to wait. Oh, we're at a 5K on Thanksgiving. Ooh, that is not dry. Hopefully I remember to switch that later. Hopefully I hear it when it yells at me to switch it later. I'm gonna be fat. I think I can be fat? I don't even know if I can be fat. Aha! Aha! There is one serving of ice cream left down here. Ugh. So I can be fat. But yes, I guess to answer your first question, because I only ever answered the second half of it. Yes, all my cards are either openings or puzzles. I got the puzzles from... there is an API that chess.com provides for you to get a random daily puzzle. And so I just ran a loop on that 1,000 times. And then, you know the thing with my openings. It goes through all my games and just plays best answer thing. It'd be nice if the cards allowed any moves that aren't huge blunders, or maybe you could just learn the mistake from your opponent's perspective. Like, the start of the puzzle could be the blunder you made, but I'm not sure if there's necessarily help you spot a mistake like that in the future, just random thought. Yeah, so I liked the first half of that, where it would be nice if the card allowed any moves that aren't huge blunders. I'm considering that when I'm making my chess flashcard app, but with the way that I've made these, it would be, like, harder. Essentially, I would need to include multiple either screenshots and or text, like, lines to say bishop c5 or this. And then the main asterisk on that is that it doesn't actually necessarily help. Now that I'm like speaking it out loud, it would be better for puzzles like those that I'd be making. So in the situation you described, I could see it working, but for openings, I don't think I want to add that, because the point of the opening is to go down a straight line. Like, it doesn't help that I know that I could have played, you know, bishop c5 or bishop b4, right? Like, I need to play one, because once I play it, I'm gonna learn the next one, and that, like, you know, the child of that. So, like, that's kind of the point of the openings. So, for openings, I don't think I would do it, but for what you described, where it's like situational to a game, I could see that. Or for puzzles, I could see that as well. Which, by the way, I got a puzzle the other day that just straight up had 2 answers. And I was kind of furious. It was, I don't know how I'm gonna find this. It was new yesterday. I don't know how I'm gonna find it. Anyway, I like double check, because I like reviewed it. I got it right, but I was like, wait, couldn't I play this other move? And I sat on it for a long time, and I was like, dog, I can totally play this other move. And then I literally set up the position, put it in chess.com, and it was like, yeah, no, you could definitely play this other move. For Max Bucky and both 3s for Chase Brown and Stroud. Yeah, I doubt he accepts that. CD's nuts. Also, I wonder if it's possible to automate the process of adding only puzzles, which you failed on chess.com or something. Um, I can't think of an easy way to do it, but that's essentially like in a way that's kind of what we're doing, right? By doing the flashcards, right? Is that if I'm getting them right, then I'm not going to see them again. So I am essentially just reviewing the ones that I get wrong. But yeah, no, I see what you're saying. It'd be nice to not even have to worry about the ones that are like, okay, skip this. Like, I already got this. Move on to the next day. Kind of thing. Oof. No, you won't. You don't know. Yeah, I mean, first off, it's a 2 to 3 trade, but then second off, it's like Max probably has the guys he wants, generally speaking. So generate like 1,000 puzzles in the first day. Ooh, I'm gonna change out of this. I don't want to get chocolate ice cream out. Are you? What is that? That's not chocolate ice cream. What is that? Looks like shit. Huh. Ah, fuck it. Ow. All right. We're back. Unexpected Bucky for CD 1-1. Yeah, Mac Jones jersey. Yeah. That's what I spend money on. Technically, if it was Bucky and both threes for CD, it would be like not unreasonable. Is the former leader of Al Qaeda Jimmy G? Huh. I think I'm gonna get jerseys more often now. I'm gonna turn into that guy that shows up to class every day with a different jersey on. A Pro Bowl Vernon Davis jersey. Yes. See, that I don't think I would care for. I think just like, I don't know, maybe I'll change my mind on that, but I think generally just like the player. Essentially, ball players chat, but with a jersey on my chest. Is what I'm thinking. Like, just for the bit. Like, give me a Brady Quinn jersey. Colt McCoy. Darren McFadden. Darren Ogunbowale. Exactly, dude. Yeah, I think I essentially just want ball players chat in jersey form. When it comes down to this almost hard, I promise be a long time loving you. Ah! I knew it was different from the normal answer, and I still got it wrong. I was like, okay, it's not Bishop E3. It wasn't. Just also wasn't the answer that I put. Gotta do my flash cards, get them done. I just got a Ricky Pearsall rivalry. Uh-oh. Is it because you sold him for AJ Brown? Now he's your rival. And this life's temporary. Or was he driving an international scout at the top of A-Class 800? The 2000 jerseys also on the list. I can see that. I feel like players that like I don't really care for a T.O. jersey. I didn't watch T.O. You know, like I got a Chris Youngblood jersey because I like genuinely first off watched OKC in the finals just this past year, even though I was not rooting for them. But yeah, then also wait, I have no idea what the move is here. I ain't gonna lie to you, dog. I have no idea what the move is here. It's just Bishop D2? I hate this. No way! And it's Trey Burton! Okay. I was like, I should take that, right? Dusty Dixie Road. All I know is I'm coming back. Wish I had me a true fine woman. The football player going from listening to rap music to listening to country music pipeline is so real. Like, Luke just strikes me as the type of person that definitely listens to only rap right now and will, like, 100% listen to only country music in about, like, 4 years. Morning. Saturday night show feeling bad. Ooh, it's 10:30. Whoa. Whoa, what happened in the last hour? Holy cow, I swear I, like, just checked the clock. Good lord. Let her ride me all night long. Catch me bumping the weekend. Okay. 94 Dion jersey. I can see it. So referee jersey is just a Glock 19 on a white Hanes shirt. I only wear Texas jerseys. I couldn't own another team's jersey. I think it depends for me. Generally speaking, I agree, but like, I'm probably getting a Gabriel Benyard jersey wherever he goes. Like, so catch me with a Gabriel Benyard Texans jersey next year. A Pro Bowl Gore jersey. You haven't gotten a new jersey since 17 or 18? Wow. D27 or something? Traumatized you too? Yeah, he's a car mechanic with his can of Copenhagen. I need to find the biggest Bucky Irving fan and trade him to them. It's probably Wager. Yeah. Wager got an Andre Johnson jersey right before the Cortland Finnegan game. D-Hop got traded. That's why you need an Ogunbowale jersey. You gotta get one that has no stakes. That's the real vibe. Davis Mills, right? Get someone that you want cut. That's the vibe. Someone that's a vibe to have a jersey for, but you would totally not mind if they got cut. Can I change? Until I try, I'll never know. Losing love, I guess I've lost. Well, if that's love, it comes at much too high a cost. Still wish he was suited. Was fake allegations ruined him? See, you guys are saying, like, I had bad luck with one jersey. I do not care. My one 49ers jersey that I got from when a player was active was Jimmy G, who played probably 3 more games with the 49ers before never playing with them again. And I'm like, cool. I have a... oops, I hit the wrong button on that. Cool, I have a Jimmy G jersey. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess it's probably because the 49ers didn't get relegated to the NFL minor league after losing Jimmy G, but, like, still. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't think I care all that much. Nobody and all of us. The wizard that there is or was is ever gonna bring me down. Bring me down. Sound just like him. Not even in a Discord. It's just me. Oh man. Oh, butt nuggets. Time stands still. My hand, 'cause I know looks can kill. Y'all need to like listen along to like the music I'm listening to, so that you don't have to listen to me sing it. You listen to someone actually sing it. Wait, actually, we got a New Jersey 2022 Christmas Damian Pierce rookie year from Macy's dad, but it's a fake jersey from China, so I never wore it. So bad luck continued. Also, Damian Pierce. Really can't trade for another receiver. I need to trade Olave for an RB, like CMC. You should cook up a trade like that. What do you mean I just drooled on myself? Am I okay? Do I have CTE? It's because I'm putting on the Jimmy G jersey. Obviously, he said no. What do you mean? That's worse than the trade he said no to with me. Oh my god. Mm-hmm. Sorry, hold on. Getting rid of notifications. And probably just finishing flashcards and hopping off, though. The nipple got 24 points. I love it. Something for Pretty and Kittle. Let's cook up potential trades. That'll never happen. I did that all the last 2 days, apparently. We'll see. If I knock this out quick enough, I might be on for a few minutes, but I would imagine the limit is 11. For every miles ahead. But offer Kenny something heinous. It's funny how everyone has the same opinion of y'all. Not that y'all have the same opinion amongst each other, like that they think the same of you that they do of Kenny, but that everyone thinks the same about you. And that everyone thinks the same about Kenny. I think that's funny. Oh, booty cheeks. the sum of who we are. He goes unpunished, no turn left unstung. I won't let the letters leave me bitter and alone. If I try to act like Jesus, end up on the cross. Remember we can rise again no matter what we lost. Need the dark to see the stars. That's the sum of who we are. Am I part of the problem? No, they actually like unanimously agree that you're like the best person to trade with. Mainly because you try to trade so often and you're not bad to trade with, I guess is what I should say is the true opinion of it all. And that they like Kenny as a person, but can't stand trading with him because he doesn't actually trade. He just like, he doesn't send serious offers, which is like, you know they're not serious, so it's fine. You don't take them personally, but also like, it is just objectively a waste of time, is how everyone thinks of trading with Kenny. And that Luke just doesn't actually take the other person's input. Like, he'll be like, hey, you know, what do you want for CMC? Now, CMC is a bad example because we just went through this and it's actually the opposite, but I'm going to use it as an example anyway. Hey, what do you want for CMC? And then, you know, he'll say, oh, I want 2 firsts. And Luke will be like, what? You're wrong. Like, okay. Then no, I guess. Brett and I do good business. That's just because he sees the trades that you accept and he's willing to look past how annoying it is to trade with you to be able to take advantage of you. Bitter and alone, if you try to act like Jesus and end up on the cross. Remember we can rise again no matter what we lost. You need the dark. Fine. Yeah, we will definitely see about that. What? Pearsall's like 24. Olave and Bucky for Bijan. I feel like I was the trading problem when I grew up, and now Luke and Kenny took over. Yeah. No, that's pretty much the consensus. Did say that his dad was drunk, so I'll take it with a grain of salt. Jake just doesn't give input, and I guarantee he led the hate coalition. No, it's no one leads it. They just agree. Like, oh god, I already uploaded, dude. Why are you sending me a message at 10:39 p.m. on a Saturday? No, I mean, Olave's good. I said it when I traded him. If I regretted the trade, it was going to be because of Olave. I mean, I guess
And it would be because of Cam Ward, but for the inverse. Yeah. No, that was the other thing that I had summarized while I was there. I was like, dude, I've won a ton of trades this year. Right. At the time, it looked like I had won pretty handily the AJ Brown trade. And Josh Jacobs has been fine. I wouldn't say I like won that handily, but he hasn't been as good as he was last year. Basically anyone I trade to Kyler, that was why I brought it up, was Kyler. Higbee, which I mean that was half of a fifth, but whatever. There was more to it. I can't remember now. But my summary at the end was that I was like, yeah, but Rashee Rice looks like that was going to be a bad pick or a bad trade. Yeah, no, and Achane too. Yeah. Yeah, Achane and Rice literally look like the two worst decisions I've made in trading. Which, I mean, in my defense, I didn't expect either of them to be bad. Right? Like, I just traded them to get the picks. So it's like, it's not like I made a mistake, but yeah. It does feel like an overpay, Luke, but Brent will probably still say no. Actually, Brent will say, oh, I mean, if you throw in your 3, that could consider it. There's a joke in there for Back Rank Mate that it's too far after the comment to be able to make the joke, but imagine I said something funny about that. I just learned Judkins plays football. Well, I don't know. I mean, for the Browns, yeah. But I'm the problem. What are some JSN is second on KTC.
Holy cow.
JSN's over Jamar Chase.
Ha! That's crazy.
Drake May. Wow, Jameer and Bijan are both over 9,000. That's crazy.
We back in love. And give it away.
Y'all are not ready for me to start having players. I wonder who the highest ranked player I've had is. Because was it Lad last year at like 20? Like AJ Brown maybe to start last year. Like, all right. I knew y'all couldn't see, and then I forgot about it. But then I guess I'm staying on this page, so. Before the dawn. Yeah, at least fourth. I'm a god. Make room for who you are. JJ, though. Uh-oh. Be so apart. How my trades? Get rid of May was my worst decision. I forgot that you had May. You had Drake May. Luke Jackson. Yeah, Devon Chain. I probably shouldn't have traded. And then where's Rashee Rice? I can't believe Rashee Rice is still this low in value. I'd get him back on my team for this value. Shit. What? Same with Joe Burrow. Well, you gotta say decision. Does a mind don't matter? Don't you pass that by? Like reflections on white powder snow. Wager with the top two rookies. There's a beauty in your eyes. It's a wonder to behold. Holy cow, Jackson Dart. Homie was 3,200 in March. That's crazy, dude. What do you mean? What do you mean he was 3,200? QB 23 as a rookie. QB 9 now. Holy shit. When your faith is gone. Looks like Agbuko is the best pick in the draft so far in terms of value per pick. Jackson Dart's second. And then, what, probably Tyler Warren. So much stronger than you think you are. You're just that you believe you can fly. Yeah, fly. Your wings. I've got 3 of the top 42 players. Like, I guess I still also only... I got 4 of the top 51. My team is, like, not bad. I should have kept Olave. I knew I should have kept Olave.
It's gonna be my biggest regret because he's gonna just continue to be at least this level for 5 years. He may never be 7,000, but he just doesn't need to. He's just gonna be 5,000 for 5 years. I was always taking my time. I don't know, man. Like, yeah, like it's really, it mainly comes down to Drake May. Also, I will say, though, for all of the wrong reasons, they were right. If you took the 26 first out of that trade, it looks like dead equal right now. And also, to Luke's credit, well, I'm trying to figure out how to decipher the whole top 4 pick comment because I feel like that needs to be deciphered. But buried deep inside, like a light, there's no place left to hide. So you're right. How much do you think I could get? How much do you think I could spend for George Kittle? Oh, yeah. Oof. He had one good week and he's like back on the climb. What is my dad's price? I never really like got like specifically a Kittle price off of him. Trey Benson, Troy Franklin. Let's go, dude. Yeah, me getting rid of Kyler Murray was probably my best trade. Wow, Wan'Dale's almost 25 already. Theo Johnson valued over Brenton Strange. Let's go. Tez Johnson, baby. 3,000. Wow, that's probably a little overvalued. Holy cow. Is he the pickup of the year so far? Tez Johnson? Let me see if I can find someone. Maybe Torrey Horton, technically, because he's valued higher, and I think he was a pickup as... No, it was Torrey Horton. Torrey Horton may have been drafted. Yeah, I think I think Tez Johnson was the pickup of the year so far. I really thought this was Josh Downs here. Dude, I mean, they have a crazy good offense, and he's just not a part of it. I really don't get it. I gotta hold on to him for however long, but at some point, it's gonna be the end of the road. Well, it would have been if he didn't get hurt. I guess it depends how you look at it. From a putting up points perspective, maybe. But from a KTC value, like, I'm going to have this person for the next 5 years. Maybe not. I mean, dude, Tez Johnson's worth more than Brandon Ayuk. That's crazy. Parker Washington was also a pickup, which is funny because he was only a pickup because I dropped him. So does that neutralize that I picked up Tez Johnson? Yeah. Caleb Johnson, dude. Yuck. Alright, I don't need to be listening to music anymore. I guess I could turn on the noise on my computer. Krosky Merritt. Roller coaster. I can't believe I dropped Parker Washington. You wanna know when I dropped Parker Washington? What was it? It was like right here. I think it was like right here. Because there's a little downslope, which is probably after he put up 0 points. So dumb, dude. Oh, in a better perspective, right here. I dropped him right here. I literally like dropped him at his lowest. Oh man, stupid, just so dumb. Say the wrong thing, the wrong girls come running. Anyways, I think I slightly win is because Juwan Johnson's tight end 6. Yeah. But like KTC perspective, right? Like, Jacoby Brissett is the most liquid. Rico Dowdle. Garrett Wilson. Derrick Henry. Woody Marks? Aaron Jones. Yeah, a lot of injured players and old players. There you go, Bucky Irving. It's 39th. Parker Washington, a 1-3-3-5 for Derrick Henry. Woody Marks, Tez Johnson, Parker Washington, Matt Stafford, and a 3 for Roma Dunze and Bashal Tootin. Sure. What about Ayuk? What's Ayuk been going for? For a 2 and Tyreek Hill. Interesting. Whoa. Ayuk, Drake May, and a 2 for Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, Christian Watson, and Jerry Jeudy. Why would you do that? Keep Drake May. What? Okay. But Tez Johnson. What can I get for Tez Johnson? Audric Estime.
What? Oh my god, just a bunch of old people. Tez Johnson, Debo Samuel, Aaron Jones, Calvin Ridley, and Mechie, actually. For a first? Y'all, what are you doing? What? Give me both threes for Ayuk. I think I gotta hold on to Ayuk. I think I trust him more than anyone else does. So I think I have to bite that bullet. Hey, he was a weekly top 5 riser at the end of October. What? Actually, if I'm being entirely honest, I'm not sure how different I would do this. Oh my god, it's 3 of my guys. 44 minutes ago, someone valued Tez Johnson, Brandon Ayuk, Theo Johnson. I would say I'd put Theo first. Just because he's tight end, it's like he'll be there for a while. I'd go Theo, Tez, Ayuk, I think. Did I specifically say a 1? Because I don't necessarily disagree, but I guess more specifically, I would say that I would not do it for a 2. I would need more than a 2 to trade Theo. I mean, the bottom line is, like, Laporta is not tight end 1 like I thought he could be. And so I do not mind stashing up on extra tight ends and keeping the good ones like Theo. Because, I mean, they're not all going to hit. Like, Chig is not what I thought he would be. Sinnott is not what I thought he would be. So when I get someone like Theo, it's like, man, I kind of just have to take what I got on that one, you know? Dos más. Okay, let's see on my flashcards. All right, it is 11 o'clock as well, so I'm going to go ahead and hop off. Move this over. Hope you all had some fun on the stream. Big move through things. I love you guys. I'm going to keep trying to be live once a week. I know it hasn't been the case recently, but, you know, Thanksgiving and such, so I'm going to try and keep being live once a week. Maybe twice a week. We'll see if I can get comfortable. I did just get staffed on a project that's texting me at 10:39 on a Saturday night, so we'll see how time consuming that is and how rough it might be. But if it's easy, maybe I can stream more than once a week. I'll try and shoot for once a week, and yeah, we'll just kind of see how things go, because going forwards, well, the other thing is I kind of want to get back into running, because John's trying to get me to do a 15K in March, and I need to not weigh what I currently weigh. So, so if I do start putting more time into running, I'm sure it'll be harder for me to find time to stream, just because, you know, I only get so much free time in the day. But we'll see. When I get on projects like this, it really always just comes down to a rhythm and what the rhythm is, right? Like, you know, some projects, like the project I'm on right now, the people that I meet with are mostly in the West Coast, so our daily syncs are at 11 and 11:30. So it's like I might actually have the morning kind of to myself. Like if I wanted to get up and, you know, wait for it to warm up a little bit and run at like 9 a.m. or something, I probably could. Rather than running before work at like 7:30 when it's still cold. So I might be able to make something work depending on what rhythm I could find. But, or rather than when I'm on a different project where the daily syncs are at 8:30 in the morning and it's like, brother. Run coming this week, like Monday probably. Lit. Get Strava and send us the screenshot, and also probably add me on Strava, because why not, right? That's it for me. Hope you guys had some fun. Big do things. I love you guys. I'm out. Deuces.